That's coming out tonight, folks. The weather has been threatening right now. A bit of snow and rain on the way. So for those of you who came out, thanks for being here. You've heard me say this before. There's a mantra I have called PAFTM, PFTM. It means people, facilities, time, and money. And any organization that works well has to have those four factors in operation. But the very first part of that is the people, the right people. And let me tell you, I've got the best people. So let me explain. John just mentioned Katie and James. Katie first, and Katie is the person with James Milan, our communications manager, who actually produced the annual report, which is really fabulous. So I want to thank them. Very beautiful, very beautiful. So we have Katie and James. Kudos to them for the annual report. Then we have Sean Keane, who is not here tonight. He is actually covering a meeting. And Sean covers all of the meetings in town. He's a fantastic guy, very quiet, looks like a movie star, if you know who I mean. But, you know, he goes to all these meetings, and he knows more about what's going on in the town than we do. It's fantastic. Even JB, our new news director, is asking him what's happening in town. But Sean is not here tonight, unfortunately. The other person that's on the staff I think you know well is Jonathan Barbato. Jonathan is Mr. High Energy Bunny. Man, this guy really has programming out the wazoo, as they say. I mean, it's anything from dance shows to dog shows. He does it. He just does it. Cheryl Braskulis. Yeah, Cheryl. She's not here tonight either, but she was the one who actually pulled all this together with our food, which is a lot of food. Take it home with you. She's our detail queen. That's the way I look at her sometimes. Then we have Kevin Wetmore, and Alex Van Tong. Alex is the newly hired sports producer. But between Kevin and Alex, we are covering far more sports of all types in Arlington than we ever have before. We have more music coming out of Studio B than we ever have before. And there are more workshops, film workshops, all because of Kevin's involvement in that and his insistence that we can maintain high standards of production. Sarah Alfaro Franco, she's our public affairs guru. She's the person who goes into depth in doing public affairs programming, questions of great import to the town of Arlington. And she's the one who goes to town manager, for example, and grills him, shall we say. Gently grills him, all right? JB is actually Jeff Barnes. He's our new news director. He takes over from Heather Abison. And Heather actually, in conjunction with Brenda Mahoney is the assistant news director. She's still here. Brenda's still here. Heather has moved on, and JB has moved in. And JB comes from a background of being a national broadcaster for many, many years. He's been in broadcasting here in Boston and also in Washington at the national level. So we're very lucky to have him here on board as well. Putting all this together is a young man who's very quiet, but he's the fastest editor I have seen. And his name is Jared Sweet. And Jared is a part-time employee, but I'll tell you, we all lean on him to get things done very, very quickly. The last person I think you all know is a guy called Jeff Monroe. Now, Jeff handles 4 ACMi locations, sometimes at the same time. He wears many different hats. And sometimes he doesn't take his hat off at all when he's in the studio, and I never know which hat he's really wearing today. But then where's Jeff? We don't know. He's over at Studio B. He's over here, over there. So these are the folks that I have as employees and ACMi has as employees. I'm very proud to have them on board. They're a very talented, creative group. And when you go back to PAFTM, yeah, that's the first item on the agenda. So the right people, and we have that at ACMi. Second part of this, facilities. I'm not going to steal Jeff's thunder. I usually do. But all I can tell you is that we're up to speed. We have new contracts with each of the 3 providers, and we're in HD. Not totally, Comcast being Comcast has not provided us with any HD channels, unfortunately. RCN has given us all of them. Verizon have given us 1 channel. But we're getting there. So if you have HD at home, turn to the HD channels. Really good image, good picture. On the funding side, Because of the new contracts, we have additional money coming in, which is really designated, much of it is really designated for capital improvements, so we certainly can use that to stay up to speed. That money would not be used for anything other than capital. We do have a small increase in the funding on the operational side as well. Any money that we do gain this year, we're not going to be using it to buy pizza. We're buying $30,000 edit servers and machines and technology that I don't understand. If you want to know more about it, talk to Jeff, but he talks Greek, so I have no idea what he's talking about. I have no idea. Anyway. Funding. So now comes to that other question I hear people are asking about it right now, is the FCC question. There are just in brief, there are 2 orders that the FCC has put out there, proposed orders. One of them is called the small cell order. What it means is that as opposed to the providers giving each of the towns in the area a small amount of money to rent the poles on which their wiring is strung, they're saying, well, we're not going to be doing a lot of stringing wiring anymore. We're going to go wireless totally. So they want to put up mini small cell transmitters throughout the town, but they want to take, one, the fee away that they pay the town, and they want to take away the authority that the towns have to determine where those transmitters will be. Even from an aesthetic viewpoint, they'll say, we don't want the town to get involved in that. So our town knows that. They have sent a letter in support of us, which I'll get to in a minute, and also for themselves, because they'll be losing some money if this order goes through. The deadline for that order and the one that affects us is for PEG funding was yesterday. However, there's another 30 days available for reply to those comments, and that deadline is December 14th. So maybe between now and the 14th of December, you can go online, check what comments are out there, and you can reply to those comments. The second order is the one that's called in-kind, in-kind funding. What the providers are trying to do basically is get out from under paying money to local access stations. They've been wanting to do this for years. They used to run this station many years ago and other stations in the area. They just didn't want to do it. Too much money, too much time, too much hassle, too much trouble. So they turned it over to local nonprofit organizations such as ACMi. So in 2006, ACMi began to operate this station. But the providers still had to give a bit of money, 5% maximum of whatever you pay as a cable subscriber in Arlington, 5% total max. It could be 50 cents to 75 cents on your cable bill to help pay for the operation of this station. Well, what the providers want to do is they're actually going to say, well, we're actually providing other services, such as we ran a cable line to the high school. That cost them a bit of money. It could cost them because of the fiber, could be cost of labor. Well, we're going to charge that back. That's going to be in-kind money that they then would, in effect, charge the station, take the money away from the station through the town, and say to the town, well, we're giving you this amount of time and labor and whatnot, but that's costing us fair market value of X. But we'll take it off the PEG, Public Educational Government funding. So that means that the money that we get in is going to decrease. And this not just us, it's all stations throughout the entire country. So this is a big event here, big event that's going to take place. This happened, same sort of thing happened back when in my younger days when I had hair. They actually stopped mandating at the federal level to that each town would no longer have to do local programming. So across the country in the early mid-70s, a lot of people were out of work, including me, because at the federal level, they just stopped the mandate. You don't have to do local programming. Public access was maintained, though, which is why it has now redeveloped to where it is right now. But now we have the federal government saying, well, we'll have to think about this. You may not have to do it. We'll just sort of drop the money more and more and more and more until finally smaller stations will not be able to operate because they won't have the money coming in because the cable subscribers, the cable providers rather, are taking the money away because they're doing something for the town in kind. Sounds a little complicated, but it doesn't make sense to many of us. Obviously, the access stations are fighting this. It has gone to court, and it will go to court. So it's going to be a long battle. But if you can respond to the FCC by replying before December 14th, your voice can be heard. Otherwise, you won't have an access station. Eventually, that's what's going to happen. They'll provide more and more in-kind charges, taking it away from our operational budget, and eventually things will have to change here, even at ACMi. Little dire, I'm afraid to say, which is why I wrote that letter a little bit of a somber mood in my letter in the annual report. But we have to face facts. But we also can fight it. And this is partly what's going on because of the administration we have in Washington right now. So, on that bright, cheery note, all right, let's go to each of those individuals whom I just mentioned. Let's go to a report, an update rather, from our operations manager, Jeff Monroe.
All right. Thank you very much, Norm. 2017, 2018 was an exciting year for me as operations manager here at ACMi. It was a total rebuild for master control because our master control, we're starting to distribute the HD signals. So we've upgraded to an HD playback server with Castus. The HD signal flow now continues all the way to RCN. RCN is providing all 3 PEG channels in HD. Verizon is providing us a public channel in HD, and we're still waiting on Comcast to catch up. The network upgrades to allow us a new edit server for editors in our edit suites. Excuse me. The network upgrades for our edit suites and for transport of signals from town hall or anywhere else within the town network. And the new edit server downstairs is going to be much faster and provide a lot more storage than our past edit server. The D2 network transmission and receiving gear we do have one unit located here, and we have a unit located at Studio B and another mobile unit which allows us to send signals excuse me, to and from Studio B from the high school. I'll get to that in a little bit. But the master control upgrades are there. The control rooms, so both Studio A and Studio B did receive a BP switcher upgrade, BP standing for Broadcast Picks. And we are excited to move forward with the new BP switch line of control switchers because in the control room, it upgrades the graphics. So we now will have new blue graphics suite and very awesome animated 3D imaging that you can do right in the Broadcast Pick switcher itself. You can have an offline editor, but most exciting is the BP Fusion options that the BP Net or the BP switchers offer as part of that upgrade. So we can connect and automate BP Fusion, the graphics with database information. So for instance, Studio B uses BP Fusion to pull the scoreboard data right from the high school, and it pulls it into the graphics system to keep the score up to date. And they're just changing it on the sports caster or the scoreboard, and it's updating the graphics that were designed for that. We'll use the same type of technology for elections, where we can connect the database, update the database, and it will update all the graphics. And New Blue will, we have to update the files there, but New Blue title files can be used in Adobe Premiere, After Effects, Final Cut Pro, things like that. And the BP Net is something that Broadcast Picks is now offering with the new systems. It allows us a cloud server. So for all of the systems, we can actually upload and download to one place and keep all of the control rooms with up-to-date data. So as we get into a weekly program schedule, We want to give up-to-the-date public service announcements, program information, if we want to say what's coming up this week. That's the type of thing that you could use BPNet for. You could also share graphics between studios, keep everything up to date that way, and keep everybody on the same page. The BPNet will also allow us to control anywhere, so anything on the network, we can get in and control things at Town Hall. We could use the robotic controller somewhere else and not have to be in the same room as the cameras. And things like using touchscreens, iPads, or any other touchscreen device, we can download the app and control the switcher. So if you wanted to have a sub-switcher somewhere in Studio A or Studio B, that's something we want to roll out this coming year. Along with the Studio A Broadcast Picks upgrade, we also picked up a 4-channel Skype quick link unit. And this is allowing us to, in a professional way, tie in audio and video through the quick link with Skype interviews, and it will connect directly to our mixer and to our switcher. We can create special effects, 1, 2, or 3 boxes. Here's an example here. But this is a professional piece of gear that is being used in different places, and I'll show you. It gives you full control over each of the Skype interviewees. So I'm excited to try that this year. We have been using a lot of Skype interviews. Wide Angle and Unraveling India have used Skype. And those programs have asked if we could do 2 or 3 Skype guests at a time. And although we did pull it off once with Wide Angle, Skype had updated its software to not allow for that type of connectivity directly into a switcher or audio mixer. So that is what QuickLink does. It gives Skype a connection opportunity to both the video switcher and to the audio mixer. And here's James Corbin's show where they're using Skype, and these guests were actually Skyped in with their dads. Here's CNN with an interview. So Skype is a great tool for those that have Skype. D2, this is that journey transport unit I was talking about. And it's an exciting piece of equipment because it's a 4-channel unit. So we could take 4 cameras and go into one of these boxes and transmit it over the network and then spit it back out. And all the timing and all the syncing happens in that box. So we have a dual unit, so up to 8 channels, and they can be inputs or outputs. So again, we're using those over for sports. And let's see, and Town Hall. So Studio B has an upgrade there. Town Hall makeover, we added a full-size rack over at Town Hall. And we're using network cameras. These are IP controls. The Internet Protocol allows us to use this type of controller anywhere on the network, and we tune it up with whatever cameras we're using. So if we have IP cameras in school committee or selectmen or any of the other meeting rooms, we can control them with this controller, and it gives you full control over the cameras. And the fact that we can do that over the network right now is going to be a lot easier. If you can imagine what we used to have to do with a straight connection for every camera to the controller, it was a lot of work and a lot of cable. So the multicam gear, we've upgraded an intercom unit. So for directors to communicate to their cameras, we have a 2-channel system that is all rack geared, it's ready to go. And whether you're using the Rode that we still use, it does not use the BP switch or the BP net technology, but it is still an HD switcher with 4 SDI inputs. So this unit might go with the Rode, or this unit could go with the new multicam switcher, the ATEM. This is an 8-channel switcher for SDI, for HDMI. And it's teamed up with a Blackmagic HyperDeck Mini recorder that records to SD cards. So again, exciting gear. We can now do multiple multicam events at the same time. So the roadie could go out on its journey, and then we could put a kit like this together. We also bought a bunch of reels, so you can carry video and intercom and an audio channel over one bulk cable. 2017 and 2018 also put us into some new media experiments, the 360 camera and an action camera. These are app controlled, so these are something you can monitor on your iPhone or your mobile device or touchscreen, iPad or tablet. And the 360 camera is just that. It's like two cameras on either side, and the camera stitches it all together, or the software in post-production will stitch it all together, and you can have a full either a still image or video. And we're excited to be experimenting with that world. Drones are the other exciting new media technology that we're playing with. We had some flight school Fridays this past summer, and that was exciting. Special events, media gear. We have a new high-quality projector and a large screen. Those of you who got a chance to see the dog show, the Fido Fest event, got to see this firsthand. We will also be using this for other special events throughout the year. It's exciting equipment. DSLR kits, those filmmakers and a lot of the short films that you will see highlighted this year are using the GH5 and some of the new lenses. So we're excited. We also got some new battery-powered lights that didn't quite make that slide. And audio gear, lots of new microphones. We get some wireless kits that are attached with the news units. Some capsule mics that we're using to do track recordings, and a lot of the new music events and new music productions that are happening right here in the studio are using all these different types of mics. We have floor monitors, and this PA system is something that we have already used multiple times this year, Town Day being one of the events. But the portable mixer is just a small thing, but we're using that a lot in sports. So that is the 2017-2018 equipment update, and exciting for us to install and get up and running this year. But most of all, it's here for you, the ACMi membership. Now, Jonathan Barbero.
Wow, we're all together on a Thursday night. This is a little different. Usually we're together on a Wednesday night or sometimes a Tuesday night. Well, thank you everybody for coming. We've had such a great year this year. When I was putting together this report, thinking about what's gone on this whole year, I was first having a hard time thinking what happened. There was so much stuff. Was it recent? Was it a while ago? And when I was going through everything, what I realized, what I thought was the biggest change, I guess, from last year to this year is really the quality of everything that we've been doing. The quality of the programming has increased real strongly. We've had some new producers continuing to get stronger until their shows are kind of at the top. We've had some experimental programs, and really we've had new producers come in, and with the help with all of you, a lot of you here, their shows have been so much better right from the start than they have been in the past. So thinking of all the new programming and then watching the quality, it's just kind of unreal. A lot of the new shows feel like they've been going on for years with the quality that they're starting out with. And that's thanks to some of the technology that we have, some of the training we offer, but really it's thanks to the network of support that they get from all of you and every ACMi member. So, round of applause to yourself.
Yeah.
So a lot of us are involved with studio nights. If you're involved with studio nights, let's give a little cheer. Woo! Great, so we meet on Wednesday nights from 7 to 9, 6:30 to 10, depending on the shoot that we're involved with. But it's in its 5th year already, if you can believe that. And we continue to launch new shows. We all network together. And coming up next month, we're going to be reaching our 200th studio night session, which is going to be amazing. Tons of content have come out of this program. So our 200th episode coincides with our holiday episode, so stay tuned for information and email about that. And come to the holiday special because it's also going to be an ACMi anniversary special. And that's enough talking from me. What I really want to do is draw your attention to this TV and highlight all the programming that you've created this year. It's really great. The variety is outstanding. We have people from all ages, all backgrounds, all types of content. So just watch it, really enjoy some of the programs. And if you see something new you haven't seen before, that's an indication to watch more ACMi more often.
I mean, first of all, I don't know why she wasn't in school. And second of all, I can't believe she came to you with this story about an intruder.
For whatever reason she did it, she's had a pretty good scare.
Well, I really appreciate you calling me, really. And I can assure you that her father and I are going to have a long talk with her when we get home.
All the guys at the station here are pulling for him.
Oh, right.
Hi.
Don't hi me, young lady.
Here he is, your host and mine, Steve Katzos!
And hi, everybody, and welcome to our late night talk show from New England. I'm Steve Katzos, and we are excited because tonight is our 250th episode!
Morning, Alma.
Louis, what's on your docket today?
Real loser. Guy's guilty as hell. I'll probably be down at Bill's bar by 3 at the latest. How about you?
I have the Jill Donahue case. I'm worried, Lou. She's one of the good ones, but the prosecutor is a real shark.
Where do they keep finding these kids at? I swear they get younger and younger all the time.
I know.
I've taken from this program so far that you all have a sense of humor. And you all sing.
I'm glad you appreciate it.
How did you pick
You sing and you have a sense of humor. Now, do you have something that brings together perhaps singing and sense of humor?
Farewell, my friends, I'm leaving Facebook. Thousands of hours I've squandered there. Your posts and pokes have been delightful. You who online your souls do bear.
Take it to another level. You're doing the walk it out. So you're basically just tiptoeing in place, and your arms are out to the sides and your elbows are next to the sides of your body, and you're just going around.
This is Rebecca Jean here with you again. I thank you for tuning in with us. Last week we talked about your faith. We talked about what your faith means to you and how your faith contributes to your local church and your local assembly and the people around you.
Mr. Prince Lenin, welcome to Unraveling India.
Thank you.
So before diving into the actual interview, if you can explain the Indian justice system, what are different courts and how judges and justices are appointed to those courts.
You can't see electromagnetic fields. But if we do a lesson in virtual reality or augmented reality, you can see those fields.
By immersing students in their classwork, virtual reality technology can change the way we look at education. Not only do students begin to take responsibility for their learning, but students interact with and engage with their class materials.
Once you're in, you're in. You're not thinking about your math class, you're not doodling, falling asleep, you're immersed.
FoodLink is a community organization based in Arlington, Massachusetts that rescues fresh food, alleviates hunger, and contributes to environmental sustainability. FoodLink serves people in need in Arlington and the surrounding communities.
The important thing is that I'm here with the Arlington Council on Aging, and they've given me a chance to hang out here with Kaya. And Kaya's subject today is, are our homes safe? Oh gosh, I hope they are. But you know, you gotta laugh. Life just gives us these great challenges, but today we get some really good information.
With colonialism as the driving force, our ancestors relocated to what is now the territory in southeastern North Carolina, right along the border of South Carolina, where Interstate 95 runs through, a county called Robeson County, which is the most ethnically diverse rural county in the United States and the home of our 55,000 Lumbee Indians.
Hippopotamus, hippopotamus, what do you hear? I hear a flamingo fluting in my ear. Look, that flamingo is standing on one leg.
Can we try it?
You want to try it?
Yeah.
All right, let's try it.
I can't keep my balance well.
It's hard for me to keep my balance too, Arda.
I can do it.
I did it.
The moves are so simple, and then they're repeated, very easy to remember, easy to do at home.
Yeah.
So one reason I like Qigong so much. So you teach yoga too. Can you compare yoga and Qigong?
I can. Yoga and Qigong both focus on meditation. Do you like the cryo treatment?
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 3 minutes long. It's negative. It can be up to negative 180 degrees. How are you feeling though?
Okay.
Yeah,
it's not as
it's
bad
tolerable.
as I thought.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, being that it's actually, right now over negative 100 degrees in there, you're tolerating it very well. Good job, actually.
Yeah, I'm meditating on Key West.
I really could watch that all day, and it's just as fun to help all of you make it. I really feel lucky to get to be involved with so many great programs, and not just a small sample. We could go on for days, for channels, for years. We do. So keep on making great content, and thank you, everybody. I'm going to pass off the mic to our youth coordinator, who has a whole other set of programs for you to enjoy and tell you what's going on with the younger crowd. Kevin?
Hello. I didn't realize I was up next. How's it going, everybody? This is my third year doing this as youth coordinator, and our youth program is stronger than ever right now. We're having a lot of fun. We're doing a whole lot of different things. As far as like our regular youth crews go, they're continuing to produce a ton of awesome content, and they're providing the town video for lots of great events around town. So our youth crew usually films the main stage at Town Day. They did it again this year and did an excellent job. As you know, they film all of our sports games, which I'll get to in a bit. Also lots of live events around town. We've filmed the actor like Bradley Whitford spoke at the high school this year, which was a really cool event. So we did a great production of that. Concerts like Bejazzled and I don't know what else do they do. Lots of cool things. Let's see. Also, they're also doing a lot of filmmaking stuff, which I've been trying to push for more filmmaking instead of just like multicam event coverage. So we have, as Jeff mentioned, a lot of really cool new filmmaking gear. And we have our annual A-Town Teen Video Festival, which will be happening again this year in March. Last year was the second year where we opened it up to outside towns, but our youth crews in Arlington have also produced a lot of really great content. We had a big group of kids from the high school. Our regular Focus Media group produced a short, like, film noir type style movie that played at it, and they did a really great job. One of our students in Arlington actually won the A-Town Teen Video Festival with his amazing animations. If any of you guys were there, you saw that, and I'm sure you were amazed by the work that he does. And then also with the Audison group, I've been going over and working on different film projects as well. They, if you're not familiar with the Audison Middle School, they have a really great youth program there too called Audison Media Group. They've kind of rebranded. They used to be called ONN, Audison News Network, and now they're OMG. That they came up with that themselves. They have like a logo they made and even a website that they created on their own. So they meet every Monday and Friday with Edith Moisan, who runs the media center over there, and she's like one of the best assets that ACMi has. We don't pay her any money or anything, but she gives so much to us. And all of our students really come through that program. So right now we have a group of high school seniors who are just really amazing at what they do. A lot of them are going to be going off to college next year, and a lot of them are going to be going into video and television production when they go to school. And then lots of kids who have come through the program are now working full-time for production companies, for ESPN, for D2, and making a lot of money doing this professionally. And they got started here at ACMi. And most of them got started with Edith as sixth graders in the middle school. So what she does is amazing. She gives so much time. And I go over there a lot and work with them as well. This year they actually created like a anti-bullying PSA where the kids came up with the whole thing on their own, and they did a little PSA about graffiti, and which was a big issue in Arlington recently, as some of you may know. And that actually video ended up being a finalist in a state contest, PSA contest. So, and that was like all just on their own, but based on the stuff that they learned from us and from Edith as well. Let's see. And then Studio B is also more active than ever. We have kids in it like every day. There were just a bunch of students there editing. I just had a new student from the Gibbs School come over and get a camera training. One big show that we've been doing at Studio B has been Studio B Sessions, which is a music series that we kicked off last year to try to get like some live music into the studio, especially in the summertime when there's not as much going on the youth front. And that we did a season 2 this year, and it really grew a lot. We had more volunteers coming in, more youth coming in to work on it. And we have a long list of artists who are now waiting to be able to come and participate and perform as part of Studio B Sessions. So we'll be certainly kicking off season 3 at some point soon. But that's a lot of fun. We also have a brand new news desk. I think Jeff mentioned a lot of the cool new stuff we have. I don't know if he mentioned our cool new youth news desk we have over there, but it's a little like modular desk. It's really easy. There's like 4 different tops to it. You can plug a monitor into the bottom of it. It's really easy to set up and break down, or like we set it up at Town Day this year. But we've been doing the Ponderscope regularly there. The Ponderscope is a program that Gayatri started, Gayatri Sundarajan, who's one of our amazing youth members, and she's now at Boston University. So she did that for 4 years, and each week she would come in and give a 90-second update on what's going on at the school, you know, where to get your flu shot, where to buy tickets to the dance or whatever. And she recruited 3 students who have kind of filled in that role and are now coming in every week to continue the Ponderscope. The principal sends it out in an email every time it's filmed, so it gets like, each episode has 200 views or something, so that's a really great resource for the school and for the town. We also started something called the Sports Update. So we filmed that at Studio B as well every week, and that's become also a regular part of the news broadcast. So the Sports Update, we have a student now who's kind of regularly filming it, but multiple people have jumped onto the seat there. But that's just an update of what's going on in the town of Arlington. More recently, you may or may not know that the boys soccer team won their division's championship, and they'll be playing for the state championship on Saturday. So we had their captains into the studio yesterday around our really cool desk. Our member Ken Kohlberg conducted an interview with them. So it's a lot of different things going on, and we're trying to get more stuff happening at Studio B every day. Let's see. Oh, I forgot while I'm on Audison to go back to them. A big thing that Audison Group is also doing is Teens Cook, which is a French cooking show produced by middle school students. So we have 2 middle school hosts and 2 professional French chefs. One of the chefs, Cecile, is kind enough to let us come film in her beautiful kitchen once a month. So we're actually on season 3 right now. We produced season 2 last year. It's an awesome show. Every year it's a different cast of kids that participates in it. And it's a full 3-camera shoot. We have a handheld camera in their kitchen. We set up our roadie, which is our portable switcher, in their living room and run cables all around their house and cook amazing food. I get to eat it every week, and it's always some of the best meals I've ever had. So if you're looking for like a good, easy recipe to cook at home, check out the Teens Cook site. We post all the recipes online and everything too, but that's been a really awesome show. We just filmed the 2nd episode of season 2 this week on Tuesday. And then our biggest thing going on all the time is our sports coverage. Last year we hired Alex Van Thong on to be our sports producer because there's just so much sports content to film. So I had talked with Norm about how we could really use some more help, so we ended up looking for someone to come on board and be a sports producer, and fortunately we came across Alex, and he's just been an awesome asset. He's made my job a lot easier, and he puts so much energy into the youth and into getting to all the games. He's been driving around for soccer, but we've been covering more games than we ever have before. So in the past, we would only get like a couple basketball games here, a couple basketball games there. But now we're getting every single basketball game, every single soccer game, girls and boys, hockey as well, and not field hockey, but I don't know, what are other sports that they play? So we haven't done softball. Lacrosse, yeah, that's. I knew there was one on the field that they play in the spring. Yeah, and those games get a ton of hits on YouTube. Like the community is always looking for them. We've been building up more sports crew. This year we actually had a student join our commentary crew for soccer, which is really cool. So, because usually we have adult volunteers who have been consistent commentators, and they're awesome. A lot of them have been around for a long time. Some of them are newer, like Ken. And but that's just really great content. We so many hours of content, so many hits on YouTube, and it's just very popular. And our football especially has just reached an amazingly high level of production. So Jeff was talking about the new D2 system that we have, where we're actually producing the games from inside Studio B. But if you watch our football games now and check it out on Thanksgiving morning, but we've got, a sideline reporter, we have replay, we have graphics. It's a pretty amazingly high level of production. So it's very cool. It's very exciting. It's a great experience for the youth who are involved in it. And this year, like I said, a lot of our kids are seniors, so it'll be sad to see them go, but it'll be exciting to see what they move on to do. And we're in the process of recruiting a lot of new kids. Outside of sports, I'm also been partnering with a lot of the teachers in the high school. So I'm trying to get more word out to different teachers and people in Arlington High School to realize that we're really a great resource. So a lot of kids have been coming over for different classes to get involved. This is the second year right now that we've been working on a documentary project with an AP history class. So all the cameras have been going out regularly to go film documentaries about the elections or about what it means to be a democracy is the topic. They're trying to enter a C-SPAN documentary contest. So that's a great connection. Mr. DiTomaso, the music tech teacher, is also a phenomenal connection for us. He puts on regular concerts throughout the year called Sonic Voyage concerts, and they've been building this concert series, so now they have partnerships with, they'll put on a concert where his music technology students, the music technology class is basically a recording studio in the high school. They can learn to produce music videos, mix music. They have a little like recording studio in there, and they make video projects, they do film scores. So they have concerts to kind of showcase these projects, which are both pre-produced video projects and live performances. They've also been now performing with the jazz band and with the chorus. And he's been getting his students involved with us, so I'll go over there and teach them how to do like a multi-camera production, and then his students actually film their own concerts. So we've always been involved with them, and that partnership's just continuing to grow. We're talking about starting a coffee house style after school program in Studio B, where the students will come in once a month and right after school and have like a coffee house style performance, invite their friends and whatnot. So I'm really excited about that. It's a really great program. Can't speak highly enough about Mr. DiTomaso. With that said, I think I covered most of the stuff I do. We can watch, here's a little short video I put together with a lot of the highlights of some education content. So enjoy.
Hello Arlington sports lovers, and welcome to another edition of the ACMi Sports Update.
King's cake is a traditional Epiphany cake eaten in different French-speaking places like France, Quebec, Belgium, Luxembourg, Lebanon, or Switzerland at the beginning of January.
Yeah. So good. You like it? This is really good.
Maybe I should stop and start confessing, yeah. Oh, I've been shaking. I love it when you go crazy. You take all my inhibitions, baby. There's nothing holding me back. You take me places that tear up my reputation, manipulate my decisions, baby. There's nothing holding me back. There's nothing holding me back.
Give me the commissioner. Hello, Mr. Harbeck. Did you get my report in the mail?
Yeah, I just got it. This better not be another waste of my time.
Let's suck out all the carbon dioxide! Yeah! The sea creature said we could trap the CO2 under his cave.
You know, and I'm glad that I wasn't, you know, a kid, you know, going, you know, as soon as I get out of high school, I'm gonna, you know, go to acting school. I'm glad I had time to sort of really enjoy acting before it became a kind of scary obligation.
I don't wanna waste my time with a mindset, tried it in hindsight. And I don't care what it is when what it is just this easy. And what we have is something else, to the point I can't explain it.
on a quiet night on the edge of town. The moon shines bright and there's not a sound.
Who's next? I think we got a little out of order, but I think our Jeff Barnes will be coming out now to speak to you. There he is.
Can't believe I have to follow that man with a shirt. It's unbelievable. Hi, everybody. My name is Jeff Barnes. Been here 2 months. Hey, Kevin's better looking, though. Can I leave him up here? How do I do this now? Not sure. Yeah, neither am I. I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to go, nope, wait a minute, hold on. I'm him. I do have other shirts. I just want everybody to know that. I've been here for 2 months now as news director, and it's been an absolute pleasure to be here. I come from the world of commercial television, so it's great to have hands-on experience, to work with interns, and to be behind the camera. I've always been in front of the camera, so just coming here has been marvelous as far as just learning how to shoot, learning how to edit, and everybody's just been great. So I do appreciate being here. We're now once a week. We have a show once a week, a newscast. It's something that I think is very important because it's very consistent. And that's basically what we want as a community TV station. So it's a pleasure to do that as well. And we're going to be doing that every Thursday. So basically what I'd like now is to see if we can see some of the highlights of the newscast, just to see how it goes and to show you what we've been up to. So take a look.
Welcome to Arlington Public News. I'm Carla Dorado.
And I'm Paul Werland. Thanks for joining us. In this edition of APN, after all the campaigning, debating, and analysis, you went to the polls and made your voice heard. We'll have key results from Election Day 2018 and what the final tally means for the future. In tonight's snapshot, a plan to get students doing better on the statewide MCAS exam. Brenda Mahoney joins us now in the studio.
Yeah, Carla, Paul, thank you. Students are just getting their individual MCAS test scores, good or bad. But on the whole, Arlington schools are looking to boost student achievement.
Motor down any Arlington Avenue and chances are good you'll see northeastern colors of gold, yellow, red, and green in the trees. And you may also see a few tropical colors appearing out of place this time of year.
I spoke to Arlington Police Chief Fred Ryan just this past week as part of our ongoing public affairs series on criminal justice reform, and he told me that he didn't take it that way. And he wanted to stress that these comments were made in Pedrini's capacity with the MPA and not as an Arlington police officer.
You know, this really came out of left field, and we're very concerned about it.
Arlington Catholic High's Drama Club stopped by our Studio A earlier this week and gave us a sample of their latest performance gracing the stage at Town Hall.
And the Spy Ponder boys and girls soccer matchups are heating up. That and more when we come back.
These flags will grace the front lawn of the high school for 2 more weeks. And the local Rotary Club pays it forward with money raised. The proceeds from Flags of Heroes will go towards empowering future leaders thanks to the Rotary Club.
Here's APN Arts and Entertainment reporter Jamie Joseph with a preview.
Another banner year for the Arlington International Film Festival, which took place November 1st through the 4th.
Hello Arlington sports lovers, and welcome to another edition of the ACMi Sports Update.
The Red Sox celebration falling on the same day as Halloween. Not too many people here for watching the parade during the lunchtime crowd at Common Ground on Mass Ave in Arlington, but they are expected later and perhaps even in costume. The connection, you could say, may even be incredible.
The astounding number of herring migrating through these waters continues to be robust as they make their way to points north through here, the Upper Mystic Lake Dam. Now, during the migrating season, the herring have two choices when they travel from the Atlantic Ocean to these parts, either the Charles River or the Mystic River.
We gave away tons of candy, but did we stop there? Certainly not.
We had our green screen set up in studio, taking videos of area trick-or-treaters right here in-house. And guess what? The ghouls all came from their humble abodes to get a jolt from our electrodes. It was an ACMi graveyard smash. See what we did there? Have a good night.
So that's a little taste of what we did in the newscast. We have a few franchise pieces now. We do have sports, as Kevin just mentioned, from Studio B, and I like to promote Studio B because it just shows we have Arlington covered, and that's what we want to do on a weekly basis. Jamie Joseph has been great with her entertainment pieces, which we certainly enjoy, so that's another thing we want to incorporate into our weekly show. Also, the interns, we have a very close relationship with Tufts and Emerson. We have just one intern this semester, but it's been great to work with her. Stephanie Wittenbach, she anchored with James just a few hours ago right here in the studio, so she's getting a great experience, and it's just great to work with her, and I'm looking forward to working with the interns in the future. But I've been here for 2 months. You guys have been great. Everybody's been teaching me how to shoot, how to edit, and it's amazing what I've learned in 2 months. So I look forward to working in 2019 as the news director here at ACMi, and if anyone has any questions, just feel free to ask. And thank you very much for your time. I don't know who's next, but he's wearing a blue shirt. I believe it's James.
Thank you, sir. What button did you hit, Jeff? Oh, there.
The one on the right, I believe.
All right. Should be actually a picture of Sarah Alfaro Franco instead of me, because I am just sitting in or standing in for her for just a couple of minutes talking about public affairs programming. And pretty much everybody in this room, and hopefully most of you watching as well, know that Sarah was the first news director here at Arlington at ACMi, or with Arlington Public News. A serious mishap in the studio a couple of years ago meant that she needed to reevaluate how much time she could spend on the work here, and meant that an opportunity arose, and she was able to take on the public affairs producer role at a reduced capacity compared to the 60+ hours that she would regularly put in as the news director. So now she's just down to 40 or 45 or whatever it is in her part-time work as a public affairs producer. But the other part of that is that it works very, very well for Sarah's particular perspective and priorities to take deeper dives into subject matter that is compelling in and of itself and of particular impact and import to people in Arlington. So we have made a number of series under the public affairs umbrella, and you'll see in a couple of minutes a small sampling of them. But just to provide a little context, the series will always be around a series will form around a theme, and the themes are ones of either Sarah's choosing or mine or a combination thereof. And what we want to do is then be able to speak to the decision makers, the knowledge masters in that particular area, and then we usually are successful because of Sarah and our interns' intrepid efforts in getting to some very, very impressive people. So we have a criminal justice reform series, for instance, that highlighted a lot of things that ended up in the omnibus bill that passed through the state legislature earlier this year, we were really well connected to a group that had an awful lot to do, probably more than any other community group in the state, with the content of that bill. We got plugged in there early because they operate out of the First Parish Church here in Arlington, and we were able to speak to people across the spectrum, from law enforcement, our Middlesex County Sheriff and our local police chief, all the way through to people who are amazing people, perhaps incarcerated multiple times, who are now have devoted their own lives to creating programs to ensure that not just they, but others similarly situated won't return on that kind of prison merry-go-round that we're all very well aware of. So it's a privilege for me to be able to talk to these folks in most of these situations, but it's really Sarah's impetus that makes it all happen. And just a couple of other things. Talk of the Town is a popular series here in Arlington in that it just allows us to go out and talk to people who work in different capacities in town about the work that they do and how it affects our lives. And so it's very broad in scope. But your Arlington Dollar, for instance, is going to be of particular interest, I think, to a lot of folks over the next year or so, or 6 months maybe, as we are all facing the imminence of a debt exclusion and override, which are likely to come before voters together in this coming spring, and people will want to know why. It's going to be quite the hit, and your Arlington Dollar has a lot of content that is going to elucidate matters for people, illuminate things so that they can understand better why the decisions are being made as they are and by whom, etc. So I will just leave it at that. We have other programs as well. There's about 6 or 7 series under the Public Affairs umbrella, but for now, let's just watch the highlights.
Hello, Arlington. My name is Jane Morgan, and I am running for one of 2 school committee seats on April 7th. I would like to share with you why I'm running, what I feel our schools need, and how we can work together to make that happen.
That we are more interested now in getting to the end of a thing than being peaceful and acknowledging each other's humanity along the process of it. And that's one of the things our ancestors did very well, was looked at the process of things so that we didn't rush to judgment, we didn't rush to action, because that's exactly what comes to an oppressive relationship with other people in our societies.
Hi, welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Sophia Giannetti. I'm here today with Allie Carter, the Economic Development Coordinator here in Arlington. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Yeah.
Can we start off by having you tell me a little bit about your position as the Economic Development Coordinator?
Sure. So my position is fairly new in the planning department. It was actually created in 2013. I'm the 3rd person to have the job.
And how long would it take to do one's job, so to speak, of taking photos at any given time?
Well, back in the beginning, I was for here at Menominee Rocks, I was the main photographer, and I would take photos every dog walk.
Before we start getting into some of the historical context that is behind what's happening in Massachusetts, could you start to explain what this bill entails?
Sure. Well, actually, it's still 2 bills. The Senate passed their bill first, and then the House has passed their bill. And now there has been a conference committee assigned with various members of the House and the Senate.
when we are receiving one level from the state, we make that up on the local level. Property taxes are regressive by their nature, right? They're not income sensitive at all. So regardless of your ability to pay, it's all based on your asset.
So I did just want to mention one other aspect of public affairs programming that I had touched on briefly, and that is you saw the work of a couple of our interns there, Sean and Sophia, interviewing folks, and this is an excellent reflection of Sarah Alfaro Franco's longtime commitment. She's really the person who got the internship program going here at ACMi a number of years ago through the news. And her devotion to teaching youngsters and giving them opportunities such as these guys had, if they can do it, everybody gets thrown in, and then they figure out whether they can do it or not. And so many of them can and develop and grow before our eyes. That it is one of the, it's just the kind of thing that just keeps you coming back to work here all the time. It's not just you guys doing the work that you do, which is also very excellent and continues to grow in the way that Jonathan was talking about earlier, but it's a real, I don't know, it's just like a gift. It's a gift to be working with 18 to 22-year-olds who are figuring these things out for themselves and on a path. And we get to help them along. That's a good segue for me to now I'm James, and I'll just talk very briefly about our communications and outreach efforts, which also incorporate a lot of what I was just saying in terms of wanting to nurture others' growth. Hopefully, you guys who have produced programming here do feel like what you have done for yourselves has been of significance for you, and not just something that we are proud to show on the television, but also something that you have achieved some personal growth through. That is right at the kind of life spring of what it is that we do here, is using the facilities, the training, the compassion, the support, the enthusiasm of the people who are in this community in order to make sure that individuals who are just trying to feel their way along or just trying to realize a vision that they may have had, which was not concrete, get there. That's what we want to do. And that keeps happening over and over again. I'm now in finishing my 4th year on this job, and enjoying it more than ever. And that's because we get out into the community as best we can. I will just mention one, just briefly, that JB earlier, Jeff Barnt, who just spoke right before me, in today's newscast, he did a piece which basically encouraged or showed people in 2 minutes how easy and how accessible it is to become a citizen journalist here in town. He did a piece on the news. You should all watch it. And it was fun. It was it had the right spirit to it. It was very inclusive, and it, again, it makes it seem, hey, that's right there for you. And that's the message that we're trying to give out to the community all the time. And again, I think we're being, in my experience, more and more successful in doing so, whether that's the reception that we get at Town Day, where everybody expects to see our booth that is so distinctive, and through which we always get signups and a certain infusion of energy, et cetera, but also in many, many other ways, from the newscasts that go out take place out in the community, to the programming that we do at the library, at the church, at town hall, et cetera. People are just seeing us more and more, and I am finding in my own travels through Arlington that ACMi is a better known entity than it was even just a few years ago. So hopefully we will continue with that, with making that progress, but I know we're going to be having a good time doing what we already do here and keeping that up for as long as we can. So thank you very much. And finally, Katie. Yeah. MVP.
Thanks, James. We're actually going to go back and do Sean Keane before we forget.
Hi, my name's Sean Keane, ACMi's Government and Programming Coordinator. This year, with updates to the school committee room, we've replaced our last standard definition cameras with high definition ones. Their removal means ACMi produces only HD content now. As well, check out our website for updates on the Arlington High School rebuild, with forums and design process updates. Learn more about Arlington politics, Arlington government by watching ACMi's Government channel, be it on video on demand, streaming online, or straight to your television set. Thanks for watching.
All right, Sean Keane. Hey, there we go. So I'm going to start with a little video. You'll see just some graphics that some of our awesome interns have made over the past year. As James talked about, we have an intern program, and they're always just like monumental to supporting our members and creating awesome content. So I just wanted to show you some of the graphics and productions that they've been a part of, and you also see some other marketing materials that we made this year. So can we roll that video?
What's up, ACMi? I'm your host, Tyler Robichaux, back again with another episode.
Hello, my name is Kylie Sullivan, and I'm a health compliance officer in the town of Arlington.
So yeah, like I said, the interns are so helpful and amazing to have. These are some photos of the ones from this past year. But really they support productions, workshops, editing with the members, producing their own shows. Rico and Bia were some of our graphics interns last year, and really without them, they're just so helpful to have. So I want to talk about like our website. Our website was made 2 years ago by Megan, and really there's just new content up there every day, from new videos, new blog posts. We just started posting crew calls every week, and it's really just a hub for ACMi members to check out equipment, see updated content, and submit videos. And page views doubled in the past year, and the top views are typically like youth posts, youth videos, news, and in the past month, Ponderscope was like the top hit. So definitely like youth videos are some of the top hits for our website. And really that's seen also with our YouTube channel. So YouTube and the website are kind of the similar thing, where videos go up on YouTube and then that gets pushed to our website. And same thing, like the top videos on our YouTube page are all youth videos. The Beauty and the Beast, one by Addison Media Group, or Addison Middle School, is always getting likes and comments even years later. So really it's always reaching our youth audience and people that are interested in youth videos like graduation. I didn't miss anything else. And the watch minutes also have doubled with our YouTube channel. So same as the website, everything's doubled in the past year, which is awesome. And I'll talk briefly about social media. All the top posts, this is the top post here about Arlington High School graduation, as well as a cappella. And a lot of our social media, again, is all just focused on reaching out to the youth audience. It's really like the top hits. And it really, we see a lot of it with some of our, like the Middlesex County debate. A lot of our legislators reposted, retweeted a lot of our content, which is awesome that our videos and our information is getting out there to the wider Arlington audience, just not to the membership. And I'll leave you with this awesome Instagram post. I don't think I missed anything else, but really we're reaching our ACMi members and the wider Arlington audience. And again, the top hits across the board have all been youth videos and politics. So, thanks.
Yeah, good stuff.
What's the year on the left? Is that 06? No, wait, that has to be earlier. What year is
that is earlier, right?
It's going to be probably 02 or 03.
Wow.
It's old.
No hat either.
And everything's so much smaller.
Hair, no hat.
Hair.
Norm, do you want to close, or?
Yeah, well, really, really up to you folks at this point. If you have any other questions, thoughts, comments, please let us know.
We want to thank our crews and all our employees. They did a great job
Yes, they did.
on their work this year. We're really proud of everything they did and everything they've produced for the members, for themselves, and for the community. Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions?
I have a question. So I guess I should get that right.
Yeah, sure. Len knows the drill.
Well, having edited, you certainly want the questions to be mic'd. So with the FTC situation, I know we don't want it to happen, but let's say it does. I mean, what are the possibilities for what we can do to get more funds? I mean, would the state be able to do something, perhaps? And would the town be able to do something? I'm just trying to think about what the alternatives may possibly be.
We don't know the full answers to that yet. There is movement afoot to challenge the federal government to say that they do not have the authority, basically, to set rules and regs at the state level. That's what I'm seeing coming down. So what they're going to do, we just don't know.
So if it did happen and we worked, our funds, our income was cut significantly, we'd have to start fundraising of the whole Channel 2 stuff.
Okay, thanks.
We'll auction our chairs off or something. I don't know what we'll do.
Auction the town meeting.
There you go.
Town meeting, what's your position again?
Moderator.
Moderator position. So it's like you get to be moderator for a day.
No one will pay for that, believe me. Any other questions? Great, thank you. It's been a great year, and we'll see you next year. Thank you very much. We're joined by another board member, Phil Privatera.
Please take food. Please take food.